What is up, everyone? I'm Jeff Lund, and this is episode 105 of the Mediocre Alaskan Podcast. I took my skiff across Beam Canal, which is just north of Ketchikan. Took it over to Helm Bay and was putting around in there and set some pots. And then a feeling that I have felt for quite some time, pretty much since I first bought this skiff. It's a 15-foot Boston Whaler, 1985 Boston Whaler with a 70-horse Yamaha 4-stroke on it. It's a 2010 or 12. It's got about 200 hours on it. I've loved it, but as I've said, you get that feeling as soon as you get something that you become more acquainted with what it can't do. You like what it can do, but you think, man, if it could just do this. And that 15-foot skiff, it's a pretty small thing, doesn't have a whole lot of freeboard in the back, and so if you're halibut fishing from it, it can be kind of tough to back down on stuff. But as far as like going out and setting shrimp pots, setting crab pots, getting around, trolling from it, it's amazing. It's great. You can take it to the beach, you can anchor it. I wouldn't put it up on the beach because it is nice, heavy fiberglass. So that will get you through the waves better. You don't get beat up quite as much. And my buddy that has an 18-foot Lund skiff, aluminum, that, of course, it's aluminum, but the ride is not nearly as smooth, even in some light chop. And so I like the fiberglass from that because it really smooths out the ride. But if you're going to beach it, because it is heavier, you're not going to be pushing that off if you get caught in the tide. So anyway, these things are what I'm now deciding. I'm now looking into getting a new boat, selling my 15-foot Boston Whaler with a 70-horse Yamaha, 200 hours on it, and looking to upgrade, like a medium upgrade, because I don't want a new mortgage, or I don't want a mortgage-type boat, one of those big, massive, they're great, and you can do a lot of stuff with it, but the bigger model, North Rivers or Hughes Craft or some of those big ones. So you start looking into it and you talk to people, and what you don't get is clarity. You get more stats and you get facts, but you don't get much more clarity. I really like the look of Pacific boats, and they have a hard top, enclosed center console walk around that, man, is just great. It is a great looking boat. Some skiffs with a enclosure or hardtop look like a skiff with a hardtop. It doesn't look like a boat that's put together correctly. It's like the company has your skiff mold and then your console mold, and they don't necessarily match, and you have to kind of customize it, but it just doesn't match. But I really like the look of those Pacific boats in a 21 or 22 foot. But they're pretty expensive. $94,000 for the skiff that I was looking at. It's that more heavy-duty aluminum, but that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. If you go to a lesser grade aluminum, a lot thinner aluminum, you're going to get beat up a little bit more. But, those little Raiders and Hughes Crafts, man, everybody has them around here. A buddy of mine has a Hughes Craft that's got a soft top, so I definitely want a hard top. And you see some of those around, and those are pretty fairly priced. It's nice that you can have access to the bow. It's to walk through, not around, and so you can have access to there. And you got some better space. And that's one of the main things that I'm looking at is space. If you put 2 people on my skiff, you can fit some crab pots, you can fit shrimp pots, and so if that's your program, man, you're good to go. You're good to go. But there's always a little bit more that you could want from it. And so if you have no boat, like I did before I bought that Whaler, it was perfect. It was just a great boat to start with, but then you start looking at extending your range. And if your range is just, a couple hours away and you're just doing some hunting, fishing pretty close, then you are good to go. But you start thinking about, or you start having friends who went around Revilla, or you have friends who have done longer trips and thinking, man, that would be pretty sweet. So you start thinking about extending the range, especially when the weather gets a little less favorable, especially for fall deer, and you get some nice get some nice days for sure. I've taken my the Whaler. I took it a couple longer trips in October when the weather was good. But you never know, and it's nice to have something a little bit bigger. So that's what I'm looking at. So do you go aluminum? Good looking boats, like I said. Love the Pacific. A little out of my range. The Hughes Craft, Raider are good boats. Everyone has them around here, but they are a little bit thin. You're gonna feel the ride a little bit more. Do you get one of those? There's some Olympics that are around there, and they're a heavier, low profile fiberglass boat, a little bit more difficult to get to the bow to set an anchor, and then you're not going to be nosing it up to the beach. Not as much deck space. You can put stuff on top, of course, which you can do with the other ones too, but you don't have that front space. It's indoor, which is okay, but sometimes you just want to put gear around. So it's just it's a good problem to have, but there's just so much out there, and everyone essentially says the same thing. There's no perfect boat. And that's absolutely true, because there are boats that you love, but you wish it could do this. Or there are good things to fiberglass is the way to go, but you can't do this like you could to an aluminum boat. Aluminum boats are the way to go, but this fiberglass, it doesn't have this sort of fiberglass attribute. It's interesting. It's interesting. So I'm welcoming any sort of feedback that anybody has about fiberglass versus aluminum boats. I've seen some boats for sale around in the Ketchikan area. So I'm doing a lot of combo deals, just getting rid of kind of all of it. The entire, the Hughes Craft with some rods and with some pots and with some all this stuff for, I think there was one that was $54,000 or something like that for the whole like Alaska kit, which might be a good option, but still, you wonder. There's really things go up in increments of like $30,000, it seems, or $20,000. You can get a low-end skiff used for a couple $1,000s. If you haven't got a good motor, that's essentially what I'm selling on mine, is the motor's in good shape. It's not very old. It's got only 200 hours on it. I mean, that's legit. And then you get a boat with it. I redid the console, and then you get a trailer. So that whole thing, $9,000 that's a good deal. There's some boats that you look at for $3,000 that, man, you're not getting a whole lot. You're getting a really, really old motor. So having a good motor with low hours, that's really good. But there's nothing between $100 just terrible skiff and about $18,000, you're just getting a skiff.
After years of fine print contracts and getting ripped off by big wireless providers, if we've learned anything, it's that there's always a catch. So when I first heard that Mint Mobile offers premium wireless starting at just $15 a month, I thought, what's the catch? But after talking to them and using their service, it all made sense. There isn't one. Mint Mobile's secret sauce is that they're the first company to sell wireless service online only. They cut out the cost of retail stores and pass those sweet savings directly to you. For anyone who hates their phone bill, Mint Mobile offers premium wireless for just $15 a month. I was hesitant about having to get a new phone and a new phone number, but with Mint, you can use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and keep your same phone and your same phone number along with all of your existing contacts. Mint Mobile gives you the best rate whether you're buying for one or for a family, and at Mint, families start at 2 lines. All plans come with unlimited talk and text plus high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Switch to Mint Mobile and get premium wireless service starting at just $15 a month. To get your new wireless plan for just $15 a month and to get the plan shipped to your door for free, go to mintmobile.com/waypoint. That is mintmobile.com/waypoint. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/waypoint.
If you want to get anything that's covered in a hardtop or even covered at all, it's like $15,000 more dollars. And if you get new, it's even more than that. There really isn't that, and you probably wouldn't want it. The lower end hard top center console or console, any of those sort of things. You don't start getting into those things until you're, $35, $40, $50,000. And so it's kind of tough to look through and weed through. And do you want a good deal? Because a good deal, what are you getting, and why is it a good deal? You gotta be thinking about that. Do you get a good boat, or do you get a good motor? Which one is the most important thing? Some people say you definitely go with a motor. If you're going to be in Southwest Alaska, you want a motor that you're going to make sure that you can depend on, and then boat is secondary. Or you get the boat that you want, and then just know that you're going to have to invest in a better motor. So personal preference for sure. So if anybody has any insight or feedback, send me direct messages on Instagram at The Mediocre Alaskan, or you can go to themediocrealaskan.com or shoot me an email, or you can comment on the podcast here. So we're going to call that episode 105, Mediocre Alaskan. Make sure you check out themediocrealaskan.com. Check out for other content coming up, and make sure you check out the September issue of Alaska Magazine. A piece in there about Bottom Street Brewing, and a little catch-a-can culture for you. So check that out. And got school starting, so I'm going to be getting ready for that, making a lot of copies, and it's good, man. You talk about all the cliche reasons that people teach, and they're all true. But it fundamentally comes down to, do you feel like there's some sort of point to your existence, and what are you doing, and do you feel a purpose? Right, and the why that you do it, and that's where all the cliched sort of teacher things come into there. But also, I think there's something really important about feeling a purpose, feeling that you're doing something, or feeling that there's the potential for you to do something. And it's not so you can go tell other people. It's that it's like a lifestyle. We had an in-service with a speaker. And this is my 16th year of teaching. And sometimes you have people that talk about acronyms and they're these programs, and they're trying to sell you a program, and like the result or the outcome is some sort of data or some sort of number, it's about the program. This one it was called Fish. It's based out of Seattle, and it's about the ideals, the business model for the Pike Place Market fish industry. They throw the fish, and it's world famous, and it's about the attitude with which they bring this. So it's more about selling a lifestyle. And so it was a really valuable in-service because we're talking about lifestyle. It's not selling a program. Here's the acronym. Here's how you implement this program, and then you get this data or you get this thing. Selling the lifestyle, which then you can this business model for life that you can individually take. And then the effect is not just in the classroom. It's just how you live the life. And then other people will see that, and you're considering other people, and you're considering serving other people, and you're considering, your attitude, and you're questioning yourself about whether or not you're getting after it, and whether or not you're doing things that are fulfilling. And then through that, then you become a more effective teacher. It's not adopting the program, a 12-step. And so it was really cool. So I'm pretty excited, pretty fired up. I'm all about that personal development, personal growth type stuff. That stuff is very interesting to me because it's so applicable. You have to keep going with it. You can't just read a book or listen to a podcast or whatever, and then you're just going to be motivated. You have to apply it. Right? So if you read How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie, or Try by Sebastian Junger, or Essentialism, you have to apply those things. And those are great books, and you feel motivated, you feel great about it, and you agree with it, and you feel empowered, but then you gotta do it. And then that's why you need those constant reminders, and why those people continue to read those sort of books, and why I continue to read those sort of books and look for opportunities to be remotivated. And even though it's the same thing in different words a lot of times, it's that reminder. And sometimes it'll resonate a little bit better than other times. So it's fired up, man, and not just for the teaching, but just continue to live life at a good pace, and not like a slow pace, but like a get after pace. To live life rather than just kind of let life happen to you. So there you go. Call that episode 105, and we will talk to you next time.